Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today's video is going to be, how do I best explain it? I'm going to describe this video as some of my favorite reads and reads that I think are really great books for this time of year. So for spring slash summer, for me, it's what, middle of March now. So in Southern California, that's pretty much the start of summer. So I tend to read books based in spring and summer around this time because it's already so hot here. So I'm just going to jump right on in. These are a mix of young adult, there is a cozy mystery in here, there is an adult romance, so there's a kind of a mix of different things, of different genres and books. So this is just what I tend to pick up, like along the lines of what I pick up for this time of year, and some of my favorite reads. So might as well share them, right? Okay, first one is one that I read last year and I absolutely loved it. And this is Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. So there's actually 3 books. This is kind of like a trilogy. So there's 3 books. There's Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and Love and Olives. Love and Luck would actually be a great one to read in the month of March because it's based in Ireland. But Love and Olives, it follows Liv. So Love and Olives is based in Santorini, Greece, and Liv goes to stay the summer with her dad, who she hasn't seen in a very, very long time. And so she spends the summer in Santorini. And one Santorini I have visited and I loved it, and so it's kind of just a nice like little way for me to revisit those memories, so I love that about it. But it really gives you the summer vibe. So her dad is trying to film a show, I think for like Discovery Channel or something, about finding the lost city of Atlantis, which has been something he searched for a very long time, and ultimately why he ended up leaving is what she thinks. We find out he leaves for a different reason later on, but it's, how do I explain this? I don't know. It's a cute little young adult kind of like, it has a romance. She does end up falling for, is it Theo? I can't remember his name, but there is a guy in here, and they end up kind of like sparking some kind of romance. But it's just a book about her traveling and finding out more about herself, her dad, finding someone who she could possibly love. So it's just kind of a coming of age book based in summer in Santorini. So I loved it. I'd probably say my second one is Love and Gelato. I love that. That one is based in like Tuscany or something like that. So any 3 of them, you can't go wrong. Okay, next is, this is just my favorite book by this author, but I recommend this author so much. I've been reading her for well over 10 years, and this copy is well loved. This is The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. Now this copy is definitely well loved. It is definitely yellowed. It's just my favorite book from Sarah Dessen. But Sarah Dessen is like, has been a favorite author of mine since I was in high school. A lot of her books are based in the summertime in a beach town named Colby, and it's very, very they're young adult coming of age books where most of the characters finds a love interest for the summer or that lasts longer. But this one follows Macy. And so Macy ends up, she's dating this brainiac boyfriend named Jason. Well, he ends up going to brain camp, and she takes over his job at the library for the summer, and she hates it. It's terrible. Jason pretty much is about keeping up with appearances. He really doesn't care about her all that much. And so eventually she's just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not working this job anymore. I hate it. He doesn't give a crap about me. So I'm quitting. She walks out, he calls her, and it's just a big, he's just ridiculous. He really should not be with her. He doesn't deserve her. So she ends up following, like she ends up driving and she ends up following like a catering van, I think, or something like that. Well, long story short, she ends up just kind of like falling into business with this catering little company. It's a little company ran by this woman and the other like teenagers, which are like, I think her nieces and nephews, and I don't know, there's a whole bunch of teenagers that work for her. And so Macy kind of falls into this new group of kids. You would think that they're kind of like delinquents or the wrong crowd, especially for like a brainiac, someone who's really into trying to get to the best college she can and all this stuff. But they're really great kids. They're a really great group. And Wes is, I don't know how to explain him, but he was like my first favorite like book boyfriend. Fell in love with him, always have, always will. I remember him, and he's just the sweetest guy in this book. And mind you, her mom is like super, super strict, doesn't want her doing any of this, and she's like, you know what? I need to do it. I need to do it. So she ventures out of her small little bubble and kind of finds herself and a new group of friends and kind of a new family. So super, I don't know, this book always drew me to it. It's something that, it's like my comfort book. I always go back to it, and I absolutely love it. I believe her book Along for the Ride, which somehow my copy is missing. I've had it, I've owned it, and it's missing. So I have to buy a new one. But I believe that one is being turned into a movie. So super, super excited for that. I can't wait to see a Sarah Dessen book come to life. Okay, next is another kind of coming to age / little romance young adult. This is a trilogy, and this is also going to be made into a TV series, but this is always books that I associate with summer. And this is the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. So this is the same author that wrote To All the Boys I Loved Before. And this is actually the series I fell in love with before I even knew about To All the Boys I Loved Before. So the first one is The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then it's We'll Always Have Summer, and then It's Not Summer Without You. So I'll kind of explain the trilogy without try not to give too much away. So this series follows Belly and her mom, her brother Steven, her mom's best friend Savannah, and then Savannah's two boys, Jeremiah and Conrad. So every summer they all go down to Savannah's beach house, and which is Cousins Beach. And they spend the summer there. Well, she grows up, you know, pretty much with Savannah and the boys. Well, she's had a crush on Conrad since she could first remember. She's always fallen for Conrad and has loved him for years. And then Jeremiah is her best friend. And pretty much Cousins is just her favorite place to be. She lives for the summer. So she pretty much lives for Cousins for the summer. She loves it. So it follows her like getting her first boyfriend and experiencing heartbreak and just coming into her own. We get to see if anything happens with Conrad or Jeremiah. We get to see what happens with Savannah and her mom and Steven. So this follows, I believe, 3 different summers, I believe. And I don't know how else to explain it without giving anything away. But if you like to read books that are going to be TV series or movies, which this will be an Amazon TV series, then make sure to pick up The Summer I Turned Pretty and get your introduction to Belly and Conrad and Jeremiah. The last YA book that I'm going to recommend is Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. So I cannot rave about this book enough. I love Tweet Cute, and I've raved about it for over a year now because it's been probably almost a year and a half since I've read it, and I absolutely love it. So Tweet Cute follows, it has food in it, which if you watched any of my other videos, you know I love any books with food. So who is this? Oh, Pepper and Jack. Yes, I love it because their nickname is Pepper Jack, which is great because it has to do with food. So this follows Pepper and Jack. Pepper is the daughter of someone who owns this like big nationwide food company. And then Jack is the son of a man who has a little bakery slash deli in New York. Well, they go to school together, but they don't know who pretty much each other are. They kind of pick on each other. It's kind of a enemies or love to hate trope. And so what ends up happening is they kind of like clash in person, but the school also has, or someone, not the school, someone has created this app that allows you to talk to people from your school, and you're anonymous and you have different like animal names. Well, eventually, and it's randomly, you'll be outed or revealed who you are to the person you're talking to. So they don't know, but they're actually talking to each other, or he may know because he's the creator of the app. And then she has taken over her mom's business's Twitter account, and he has started an account for the bakery slash deli. Well, then they're going at it on Twitter, but they don't know that they're each running the accounts because it seems like the Pepper's mom and her company has stolen a sandwich from his deli. Well, so it's pretty much them battling over social medias with two of them. They don't know it's each other, and then they start kind of falling for each other in person. So it's a cute little story, and it's based around food. They're talking about sandwiches and baking, and she has this thing in here called the monster cake, and I've been saying for a long time that I need the recipe. So Emma Lord, please, if you ever see this video, which I doubt you will, but if you ever do, please give us a full recipe for monster cake because I want to make it because it sounds delicious. So super, super cute, light-hearted, fun, young adult read. I think is perfect for the springtime. Next is one that I love the cover of, is really why I bought this book. And then I ended up really enjoying it. And this is called Back in the Burbs by Tracy Wolff and Avery Flynn. So this is, you can see it's a lawnmower and a woman, and it says SOS in the background, which I love it. So this book, what's her name? Aunt Maggie. I don't know. It doesn't actually say her name out on the back of this. That's weird. So the main character in this book has an aunt, and Aunt Maggie, who ends up dying and leaves her this house. So she moves to this neighborhood because she ends up breaking up with her boyfriend, or is he husband, or I don't know. She ends up in a breakup, has nowhere to go, has no money. So Aunt Maggie dies and leaves her this house. And she hadn't seen Aunt Maggie in a while, and she's kind of feeling guilty about it. Well, she moves in. Aunt Maggie turns out to be a hoarder, hasn't kept up the house. The house needs so many repairs, and there's so many HOH violations for this house that she has to take care of, or else she'll lose the house. So pretty much this follows her getting over her relationship, finding, and creating a home for herself. She may or may not find love. I'll let you find that out for yourself and how that goes. But it's her spending this summer pretty much getting over a relationship, finding herself, and creating this home and learning more about her aunt than she knew. So it's a super, super cute little springtime read to me. It's only like 316 pages, so pretty quick read, but I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was cute, so highly, highly recommend this book. Next, well, the next three, you're probably not going to be surprised because everybody loves them, but the first one is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. If you haven't heard about this book, you live under a rock. But I only read it about a year ago, so I'm not far behind. And there is a movie that was just made, and it was pretty cute. It had Lucy Hale in it, which I love her. So I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't like the best, but it wasn't the worst. I think it was a good adaptation, a good enough adaptation from this book. So this follows Lucy Hutton and Joshua Templeton. It's an enemies to lovers book. They are working in the same office. They are up for the same promotion, and so this book is them fighting for the same promotion while falling for each other. And Josh in this book, she thinks that he is such a jerk, but he really is the biggest sweetheart, and Lucy just needs to give him the time and the chance. The Smurfs aspect of this book is a little weird to me, but yeah, but other than that, super cute little romance. Pretty easy read as well, pretty fast read, but super, super cute. I love, for the springtime and the summer, I love romance. Like I've said in past videos, they go hand in hand for me. Just very, very light-hearted, not too dark, not too, just not too much to think about. But I'm also a big romance reader. Okay. The next book I recommend is one that I just finished recently, and that is Shipped by Angie Hockman. So this book is a mix of between The Hating Game and The Unhoneymooners. This follows Henley and Graham. I don't know how to pronounce his name still, but this follows them, and they're up for the same promotion, just like in The Hating Game, but they've never met in person until now. They end up going on a cruise to the Galapagos, which is why it's kind of like the Unhoneymooners, where they end up in a tropical location, and they're up for the same promotion, so they're trying to create this like digital campaign to try to get more people to book these cruises. So they go on a cruise so they can experience it and create this campaign so they know exactly what they're selling and what's happening on these cruises. So they end up going and touring the Galapagos, and which is an amazing aspect of the book. I like want to go to the Galapagos now. Granted, I want to travel everywhere, but the Galapagos is now probably one of my biggest destinations because there's so much cool wildlife that I think it'd be amazing to go and experience what this book kind of describes in it. So they're fighting for the same promotion, just like The Hating Game, but in a tropical location while falling for each other. So it was such a cute summer, springtime read. I love it. I loved it. I would probably reread it. But yeah, I definitely think that this is, plus the cover, look at that. It's like the perfect cover for spring and summer. So highly recommend that one, along with so many other people. The next one is going to be no surprise because I've already mentioned it in this video, and that is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. First of all, look at this cover. I love it. It's yellow. It has a toucan, the hibiscus. I love, love, love it. Now, this book follows Olive, and she's a twin, and it also follows Ethan. So Olive's twin and Ethan's brother are getting married. Well, this book pretty much is a enemies to lovers, hate to love kind of thing. Because I always think enemies to lovers and hate to love are kind of the same thing, because enemies and hate go hand in hand. So Olive and Ethan just don't get together, or don't get along. They hate each other. And so their siblings are getting married. They're in the wedding party. all this stuff. Well, the day of the wedding, everybody except for Olive and Ethan eats the seafood buffet and gets sick. So they are left with the honeymoon because it's non-refundable, and she looks just like her sister and he looks just like her brother and everything, so they can kind of pass it off. I don't remember the exact details, but so they end up going on this honeymoon. So we're going to be finishing this video with little Corey. He decided that he did not want to be put down, so he is going to be part of the video. Well, as I was saying, Olive and Ethan end up going on their siblings' honeymoon to Maui. Yeah, Maui. So pretty much it starts off with them hating each other, but in reality it was all a miscommunication. Ethan doesn't hate Olive, and Olive only hates him because she thinks that he was mean and didn't like her. So it was a big miscommunication. So they end up their relationship starts to change from hate to kind of like to possibly falling for each other. And then there is a twist at the end that I did not see coming for a decent while, and the twist kind of gave it a good little change to the story, not just your typical romance ending. So I enjoyed this, not only because it's a great little love story, but it's based in Hawaii, summertime, beach, all that stuff. So I loved it and I recommend it. Now my last book is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. This one I absolutely loved. I got this in actually a year ago, April 2021, in book of the month, and I love this book. This is a Tita Rosie's kitchen mystery book, and this, I had never read a cozy mystery. I didn't even know cozy mysteries existed, and I read this and I loved it. Not only did this book have food, once again, a theme in my life is food books. So who does this follow? Lila or Lila, however they pronounce it. This follows her. She comes back home and she's helping run her family's restaurant. I believe it's her aunt and her grandma, or her mom and her grandma. I can't remember who it was, but it's a family restaurant. And well, her ex-boyfriend, who is a food critic, ends up coming in and dying in her restaurant right after she has an argument with him at the table in front of everybody. So pretty much this book is her trying to prove her innocence and trying to figure out who really killed him. Along the lines of, I know the second one comes out, and it says that there's like two guys that she's kind of choosing from. So I can't remember if romance was a big aspect. I think romance was starting to bloom in it, but there really wasn't like a romantic connection yet. But there is a tiny bit of romance. But it's mainly her trying to figure out who killed him and trying to prove her innocence. So now there is a second one, like I've said. I'm hoping to read it within the next few weeks because it just came out, and I can't get enough of cozy mysteries. So I read, I believe it's a cozy mystery, kind of another series. I believe it's classified as a cozy mystery. If not, I would classify it as a cozy mystery. But For Aunties and, was it a funeral? Or no, Dial A for Aunties. And then there's a second one which may be For Aunties and like a wedding or something like that. But that's kind of like another cozy mystery. I'd recommend. I don't have a hard copy of it, so I can't show you. But Dial A for Aunties is super cute. Very similar. A death ends up happening, but instead of trying to figure out who did it, it's her trying to cover up the death. Which is not necessarily, she didn't murder him necessarily, but it's her and her aunties trying to cover it up, and her kind of finding romance, and it's just a cute book. So I didn't know that cozy mysteries existed, and now I would say it's probably one of my favorite genres next to romance. So yeah, those are just some of my favorite books that I enjoy and that I recommend reading for this time of year. So if you you know, I hope you find some new books to add to your TBRs and your lists. But if not, and you've read these, let's talk about them. Please leave me some comments. You can also shoot over to my Instagram and comment on there and see what books I'm reading pretty constantly compared to just little videos here and there. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this channel and you want to see more bookish content and cute little babies, please subscribe. Excuse my dog. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks!